who knows what happened? But you know what? I don't think I'm going to get my breakfast. And I just finally gave up all hope. I was defeated, just defeated. And I decided, I can't pray like this. I just thought, we'll just close the prayer time on that note. And I went to find her, and I looked all over the house, and I found her, and I said, Carol, I asked politely for breakfast. Where's my breakfast? You didn't do the breakfast. You're able to do breakfast. Why? Did you hear me? She said, oh yeah, I heard you. I said, well, why didn't you do it? She said, well, you told me you're on this intermittent fast and not to make you food no matter what you said. And I said, I did? Yes. Oh, okay, fine. I'm leaving. And so I did what any self-respecting person would do. I went to the restaurant and I got my breakfast. No, I didn't. I'm kidding. I didn't do that. But the point is this. When you're dealing with humans, there can be all kinds of reasons why things don't work. And we're used to that. I mean, really, I tell people all the time, when I contract a job, hire somebody to do something, I just tell whoever's helping me, with this process, just consider there's a 50-50 chance they're not going to do what you ask them to do. You literally have to hire someone and pay them to go make sure the people you're paying do what they're supposed to do, because it just seldom works out right. Customer service is hard to find. Someone actually doing what they promised to do is so hard to find, and it does erode your faith. And then when you ask your wife for breakfast and she totally ignores you, it does something to your confidence. It does something to your outlook on life. And what happens is we bring this into our walk with God, and He doesn't deserve that. He's not guilty of any of those things. There could have been 5 or 10 reasons why my wife couldn't have or didn't fix my breakfast. And she really got me when she quoted me, and I didn't remember doing that. But she could have maybe not had the ingredients and maybe not had time to go get them, or she was busy or asleep, or she just didn't want to, I have asked her things before, and she's told me, go jump in the nearest lake and have a swim. And so that has happened. But with God, none of those excuses are applicable. It's God that you're working with. So when you pray to God, let's just go through it. If you're praying the prayer of faith and you have a promise from God that you're standing on, and you make this announcement to heaven, okay, did He hear you? Of course He heard you. He hears everything. He knows what you think. Is He able to do it? We're talking about God here. Of course He's able to do it. Well, is He willing to do it? Well, I've already done my homework. He's the one that said it. I didn't come up with it. I didn't come up with healing and the redemption. I didn't come up with prosperity and provision. I didn't come up with divine protection. I didn't come up with my cup runneth over. He did this. So when I'm asking for things like that, those are all His promises, not mine. So is God willing to do what He promised? Of course, He's God. So when you understand it from this perspective, you pray the prayer of faith, you have no other option but to believe that you receive when you pray. And if you don't, you are doubting God's character, God's nature, God's ability, God's integrity, and none of those things are acceptable. I don't care if every person in the world has let you down and no one has ever kept their promise to you. God's not in that category. He's not in that class. There is no room for doubt when you're dealing with God and praying the prayer of faith. And I know some people may be arguing, God always answers prayer. Sometimes His answer is no. Not when it has to do with His will. Think about it like this. If you ask God for salvation, if you wanted to receive Jesus as Lord of your life, is there ever a time or a place or a person where God would say, no, I'm not going to save you. You know what? It's for everyone else, but it's not for you. How many times would that happen? None. Ever. Why? Because it's God's will. It's God's promise. And God's able to do what He said. So we have confidence when it comes to salvation, but He's made more promises than just salvation, and they all work the same way. So if you want to prepare yourself for prayer, prepare to believe you receive when you pray. Prepare for that, because that's where the battle's fought. And the mind is the devil's playground. And you'll have doubts like I had in my prayer room. I wonder if she heard me. I wonder if she's going to do it. I wonder if she didn't have what's necessary. I wonder if maybe she's asleep. Maybe she was in a room where she couldn't hear the speaker. All these doubts, if there's room for doubt in your life, you've got to be ready to stand and say, no, God heard me. God's a God of His Word. God said it. God promised.